Alright folks, this is Sultan and I have nothing special. Just another usual piece of news for you. Just another day and another Islamist doing his thing. And something that the mainstream media doesn't really like to highlight much. Now, I don't know if it's by design or if the public just doesn't watch the mainstream media anymore. To be honest, I don't know. Anyway, a knife-wielding 22-year-old man in Rotterdam fatally stabbed a 32-year-old man from Rotterdam and wounded a 33-year-old Swiss national, according to Dutch prosecutors. The investigation so far shows the suspect might be ideologically driven. I wonder what ideology that might be. I'll give you a hint. He shouted Allahu Akbar multiple times while carrying out the acts. For those unfamiliar, Allahu Akbar is a chant, and after that nothing good happens. The suspect began his attack in a parking garage under Rotterdam's Erasmus Bridge before moving to the street where the fatal attack occurred. Reports suggest the attacks were random, with a personal trainer disarming the assailant as bystanders threw chairs at him. The area around the bridge, known for its cafes and bars, witnessed the chaos firsthand. The Netherlands has faced similar incidents in recent years, including the 2019 tram shooting in Utrecht, where 4 people were killed, and also a foiled terrorist plot involving suicide and car bombs. In 2018, an Afghan man stabbed 2 American tourists in Amsterdam, motivated by the desire to protect the honor of the Prophet. A decade earlier, Dutch filmmaker Theo van Gogh was murdered by an assailant linked to an Islamist terror network following the release of his controversial film, Submission. This prompted Ayaan Hirsi Ali to flee to America, where she later converted to Christianity, as she now believes atheism is not enough to defeat the growing influence of Islamism in the West. I don't really blame her, given that most Western atheists ended up becoming wokes. They have all the problems in the world with Christianity, but bend over backwards for Islam. Yes, there are a lot of OGs like Richard Dawkins and Sam Harris who make no excuses for Islam, but even the founding fathers of this new age atheism are helpless. And most of the people they drove to atheism don't listen to them anymore. Such a tragedy. I was also massively inspired by Richard Dawkins' books and lectures, and I could have easily gone down the route of these new age wokes, but somehow, after teetering on the edge of wokeism, I woke up to the reality and realized that Christianity may not be true, but in this day and age, it is not harmful. Islam remains the biggest threat to Western civilization, and we need to call out Islam more than anything. Christians don't threaten me with violent consequences. If anything, they always pray for me in a non-condescending manner. Although I don't believe in prayers, I can appreciate your goodwill gestures. Anyway, back to the usual activities of Islamists. This has been happening for well over a decade now in pretty much every major Western European country. And they wonder why people are getting more retaliatory. They wonder why people are becoming more and more right-wing. It's inevitable. When certain members of a particular community keep misbehaving and don't get called out by their wider community members, people are bound to start judging entire communities. It's human nature. This will eventually affect me too, because I do look Middle Eastern or Pakistani. I don't have "I'm on your side" tattooed across my forehead. I understand all of that, but I can't be upset with the native Europeans because they have been ignored, spat at, and called names for simply saying, "Stop this Islamist madness." This is why Geert Wilders went from a fringe element in the mid-noughties to the leader of the largest political party in the Netherlands in 20 years. Have a listen to him here, where he fact-slaps the hell out of this fellow Dutch parliamentarian.
Waarom blijft hij eenzijdig haat storten over Nederlandse moslims en ziet hij niet dat al die Nederlandse moslims en die moskeeën eigenlijk de puinzooi van dit kabinet en van de heer Wilders aan het opruimen zijn?
Nou, voorzitter, omdat ik de feiten noem en de feiten zie. En feit is dat meer dan de helft van de verdachten in Nederland van alle misdrijven een migratieachtergrond heeft. Feit is dat van alle gedetineerden 2/3 2/3 een migratieachtergrond heeft. Feit is dat 66% van de gevallen van zakkenrollerij door niet-westerse allochtonen gebeurt. Feit is dat 60% van de straatroven door niet-westerse allochtonen gebeurt. Feit is dat 40% van de drugsmisdrijven door niet-westerse allochtonen gebeurt. Feit is dat 39% van alle geweldsmisdrijven in Nederland door niet-westerse allochtonen gebeurt. En feit is dat opnieuw 39% van alle vuurwapenmisdrijven door niet-westerse allochtonen plaatsvindt. En tenslotte, voorzitter, 46,5%, bijna de helft van onze gevangenissen zitten vol met mensen met niet-westerse allochtonen. Nou zijn niet alle niet-westerse allochtonen moslims, dat geef ik u toe, maar een heel groot gedeelte wel in Nederland. Dus ik mag die feiten benoemen. Mensen zien dat. Mensen zien dat op straat, mensen zien dat in de bus, mensen zien dat op het strand, ze zien het overal. En wij benoemen dat. En wij vinden dat we daar wat aan moeten doen. Wij vinden dat we daar tegen moeten optreden. En zeker...
I'm sorry. There are no opinions in that to-the-point speech by Geert Wilders. It's just pure facts. When presented with these facts, how can any sane person come up with any other conclusion than Islam needs to go? It's not just terrorist attacks. It's crime as well. And not just phone snatchings and other non-violent crimes, but crimes as heinous as rape and grooming little children. This is why, from Donald Trump to Geert Wilders to Giorgia Meloni, they are all becoming popular on the promise of mass deportation. Giorgia Meloni, who was elected on the promise of mass deportation, has been working with the EU to do something about the illegal migration issue. I know a lot of people who are angry with her for not doing enough. Well, governments and EU regulations that have been built up step by step are complex. You can't just win elections and renege on all the stipulations that have been put on you by Brussels. So, after 2 years in office, she just announced that if you enter Italy illegally, you'll be deported immediately. As simple as that. Check out her latest comments.
E così voglio lanciare un messaggio chiaro a chi vuole entrare illegalmente in Italia. Non conviene affidarsi ai trafficanti di esseri umani perché vi chiedono molti soldi, vi mettono su barche che spesso non sono attrezzate per fare quei viaggi e in ogni caso se entrate illegalmente in Italia sarete trattenuti e rimpatriati. La nostra situazione non consente di fare nulla di diverso. Agli italiani invece voglio dire non abbiamo cambiato idea. Ci vorrà tempo, molto lavoro, pazienza, determinazione, ma non abbiamo cambiato idea. Lavoriamo ogni giorno per mantenere gli impegni che abbiamo sottoscritto con voi in ogni ambito, compreso quello del ripristino della legalità e del...
So, these are the far-right leaders that the left loves to demonize. The left doesn't really care about the ordinary public. Even though they promise to tax the rich and share the wealth with the poor, they don't care about the poor. They don't care if their jobs are taken by unskilled illegal migrants. It disrupts the whole economy. This has actually ruined good immigration too. Due to their terrible policies, people are now asking for a total legal migration ban across the board. It was inevitable because they didn't regulate it. They let in millions of unvetted illegal migrants who have pretty much destroyed the social fabric of every country they've gone to. So consequently, people say all immigration is bad, despite the fact that people who legally migrate to, let's just say, the US, have the lowest crime rate among any demographic. But people who illegally enter Europe have massively higher crime rates. I don't blame the natives for not making the distinction, and the blame goes to the leftist politicians. So, it seems like the biggest proponents of illegal migrants are now starting to step away from immigration. Not just illegal migration, but from legal migration as well. And no, not out of love for the public, but because they can see how they're going to be obliterated in their next elections in the respective countries. Have a look at the statement by the darling of the left, Justin Trudeau. We are granting 35% fewer international student permits this year, and next year the number's going down by another 10%. Immigration is an advantage for our economy, but when bad actors abuse the system and take advantage of students, we crack down. What a clown. Bad actors. Who are the bad actors? But it doesn't matter to him, because all he cares about is a victory in elections. He did a complete 180 from we need more immigrants to we are reducing student visas by 35% and then by another 10%. This is what I kept saying for years. Due to them allowing illegal migrants to enter, good immigrants will also suffer. I entered Australia as a student. I graduated and I've never broken a law. Well, apart from a few speeding fines here and there in my younger years. International students are some of the most highly skilled people, more than the skilled migrants from third world countries who graduated in their home countries where university standards were not up to the mark. But when the axe falls, it's going to fall on everyone. Anyway, it was bound to happen. Both legal and illegal migration will end, thanks to pressure from conservatives, which frankly speaking should have been applied by people from the entire political spectrum. But we know about this disease of wokeism plaguing the West. These clowns are blind ideologues. They don't look at facts. They just follow their dogma blindly. Anyway, I hope you liked today's video. You can support the channel by becoming a patron on patreon.com/Sultan or by buying me a coffee on buymeacoffee.com/. If not, then that's still okay. Give it a like and subscribe because that helps the channel too, by a lot. Until next time, ta-da. If you'd like to support my work, you can become my patron by going to patreon.com/Sultan or you can simply buy me a coffee.